Sam, is that Horizon Dreamer I spy in your music collection? That's one of Daiichi Miura's best songs. I'd love to hear it again, to listen and remember my family. Tell me, Sam, have you been having distressing dreams again lately? You know, nightmares can be indicative of the brain's internal struggles as we attempt to come to terms with traumatic events. By taking our memories of recent events and shuffling them in this fashion, we attempt to find ways of coping with them. Nevertheless, it can be an unpleasant experience. I hope you can get some restful sleep soon. Tomorrow, a mysterious young woman from the world of the dead. I hope she makes a swift recovery. Before I forget, Sam, it seems you left some cargo behind outside the Northern Environmental Observatory, where the tar bubbled up before we were whisked away to the other side. You remember all that excitement, yes? Anyway, Tarman was kind enough to collect your cargo for us. It's been placed in your private locker aboard the DHV Magellan.
Sam, we've received an urgent request from the Northern Environmental Observatory. Brigands to the west of the facility have got their hands on a large stockpile of weapons and have taken it back to their base. This happened shortly after the recent tarfall abated. The surrounding area was littered with a massive quantity of cargo that had been washed up by the tar. The brigands wasted no time gathering up everything they could and hauling it back to their encampment. This included weapons and gear unlike any we've seen before. And now we've begun observing new brigand units in the field. These ones are wearing red, reinforced armor, accented with luminescent light strips. As their unique appearance suggests, they're more resistant to damage. Melee and electrical attacks are especially ineffective against them. These units have clearly been outfitted for close quarters combat, and their sudden deployment is troubling to say the least. Their presence likely indicates that the brigands are gearing up for a raid of some sort. If we ignore this development, the brigands could use their new toys to attack the observatory, and there's no telling what might happen then. So we need to seize all of them before they have a chance to do so. Moreover, the latest data from the observatory strongly suggests an explosion of some sort occurred just beneath the Earth's surface not long ago. APAS analyzed the shockwave and has concluded that it is consistent with the type produced by ground-penetrating ordnance. This leads us to believe that the cargo the brigands secured may have included powerful explosive material. Directly assaulting the brigands using firearms risks triggering these devices, and we cannot predict how that would affect the region. Any sort of catastrophic explosion may also have an adverse impact on the tar currents. It is therefore critical that you avoid combat and secure the cargo without alerting them if possible. I implore you to take on this main order, Sam. And soon.
stretching the legs. Trouble nearby. Ah. You! Someone's out there.
recovered everything then. Great. Let's get it delivered.
Did you really go out and steal all that stuff from the brigands? Way to go, Sam. Let me get started on processing your haul. I can't find a single scratch on any of this stuff. You truly are one of a kind. You have accomplished so much, done things only you could have done. We want you to have this data as thanks. We've increased your allocation of...
Now displaying your current porter grade.
The guidepost data we just shared with you is great for making landmarks to prevent people from getting lost, even at night. And when you do place them, you'll find they're useful not only for getting your bearings, but also for creating routes that will facilitate travel for everyone. Aside from that, we've also made it so you can now use your PCC to fabricate bridges up to 80 meters in length. The rivers ahead of you are prone to flooding, so I imagine extra long bridges will be especially handy. Oh, and Sam, there's actually one other thing I wanted to talk about. Call it a little insight into the cargo you recovered on our behalf. It included a device I believe you guys have taken to calling a chiral jammer. These jammers are capable of disrupting the flow of local tar currents. In addition, you also recovered some explosives modded to be able to penetrate the ground and detonate within the tar. This would destabilize the currents over a large area. Needless to say, both these items could have been used to deliver an enormous blow to the chiral network. In other words, we've really dodged a bullet. But what I'd like to know is why this tech wound up in their hands in the first place. Can't chalk it up to pure chance. Honestly, it's almost like those brigands knew in advance that the tar was hiding cargo. We've got to consider the possibility that someone gave them a heads up. Food for thought on the road ahead.
Excellent work, Sam. You'll be happy to hear that tomorrow's regained consciousness. Once you're back on board the DHV Magellan, you should see for yourself.
I'll say a prayer for your help.
Stop it.
Someone doesn't like shoes? She won't even touch any normal food. But at least we managed to convince her to take a shower. No, tomorrow. We don't do that.
Seems like a real handful.
She just needs some time to settle.
You must be tired, Sam. Get some rest.
Hi, Sam.
Good morning to you.
Sam, by linking up the various sites farther to the north, you'll eventually be able to establish a connection to Hartman's facility. In short, it's time to tackle the northern part of the continent. Start by bringing the F2 South Distribution Center into the network. Some of the staff there are former residents of Cape Fort Knott who managed to escape the city before it was swallowed up by the tar. In addition to overseeing distribution operations, they also protect the facility from would-be assailants. Unfortunately, local chiral contamination levels are extremely high, leading to disturbing reports of paranormal phenomena near the facility. The cargo you're tasked with delivering should aid staff in dealing with this issue. Accept the main order from this delivery terminal to proceed.
Commencing route creation. Delivery route finalized. This cargo has been designated Do Not Submerge.
Order accepted. Thank you.
river's rising, Sam. We mustn't underestimate the potential risks here.
Okay, just a bit further now.
Good morning to you. Drawbridge credentials verified. Welcome, sir.
Security measures lifted.
Termination in progress. No anomalies detected. Welcome, sir.
You're with Drawbridge, I presume. Yeah, you seem like the genuine article. Welcome. Hope it wasn't too hard to track. I'll just need a moment to check your cargo. This cargo looks like it's fresh from the fabricator. Impressive work. You have been making a real difference around here. Keep it up, all right?
Now displaying your current order grade.
So we've been linked up, at last. There's also the necrobiotes you brought us as well. Feels like we finally turned a corner.
For our part, we've shared data for some custom vehicle components, as well as some sturdy combat boots. I'm sure the vehicle parts in particular will come in handy for combat and cargo retrieval. You need all the help you can get, because those armed survivalists waiting for you out east are far more dangerous foes than the brigands. They're a bunch of fools who won't hesitate to kill people, with no shortage of lethal weaponry. Though I'll be damned if I know where they got it. Make sure you're prepared before you head their way. Speaking of which, those combat boots ought to add some serious power to your kicks. You might want to equip a pair if you intend on getting up close and personal.
They're not something just anyone should be messing with. Their affinity with the dead makes them dangerous. But that's also why we can use them to prevent the dead from attacking us. With that kind of power at our disposal, we can put people's minds at ease. Could solve all kinds of problems, I'm sure.
We've uploaded some schematics for pickup off-roader parts. One of them is a heavy machine gun. It automatically acquires and fires at targets in range. It uses MP bullets for added versatility. It's effective not only against human enemies like armed survivalists, but BTs as well. The other part is a sticky cannon. When mounted, it independently scans for cargo in the vehicle's vicinity and collects it. You'll find it makes rounding up dropped cargo easier than ever.
And who wouldn't want that? Pickup off-roaders can be equipped with 2 parts like these simultaneously. So choose whatever's best for the situation at hand.
Some people have called me that. A while back, we had a situation with this group that went around looting whatever supplies they felt like. And I was the boxing champ who went up against these guys and sent them all packing with nothing but his bare fists. That's the story they tell, but it sure as hell ain't the truth.
I didn't charge gallantly into battle and beat the shit out of them. I approached them in peace so we could work it out. I asked why they were stealing from other people, and they said it was because they didn't have the skills to live any other way. So I taught them other ways to survive, trained them a bit. Nothing more than that, really. In the end, all we had to do was talk to each other. They weren't like the other riffraff you find around here. And they're still here. In fact, working in this facility. If anyone around here deserves to be called a hero, it's you, Sam. I mean, you're the one trekking across Australia trying to bring everyone together.
Anyway, right now, we're trying to develop equipment tailored to close combat specialists. If we succeed, anyone will be capable of fighting as well as the so-called Golden Fist. Feel free to lend a hand if our project interests you.
Thanks again. We're glad to have you in our corner. With your support, we'll be able to do so much more for others. Stay strong and keep doing your thing. We're in this fight together.
Sam, you're the best. Now get yourself back to the DHV Magellan and take a load off. Just so you know, tomorrow's been doing much better. Pay her a visit when you can, okay?
Order completed. Well done.
Feels good.
Hydration recommended.
Disengaging weapons restrictions.
Take care, Sam.
Raindrops are falling on my head. Oh, just a little longer, okay? Raindrops are falling on my head. And just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. You know this song? So I just did me some talking to the sun. And I said I didn't like the way he got things done. Sleeping on the job. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. But there's one thing I know. The blues they send to meet me won't defeat me. It won't be long till happiness steps up to greet me. Okay.
Raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red.
Are you alright, Sam? That was a gatequake just now. It seems West Fort Knott was hit hard, and their Cairo printer is no longer working. I'm afraid we won't be able to continue expanding the network until it's back up and running. Pick up your next main order via the terminal at the F2 South Distribution Center.
Necrobiotes are fascinating, and they seem to have become more commonplace lately as well, ever since you and I were swallowed up by that tarfall, to be specific. This sudden increase in the population should be considered yet another example of an environmental anomaly. If we successfully extend the network across the continent and trigger a plate gate to appear, such anomalies should begin to wane.
So you made it out okay. Those tremors were intense, but we're doing fine here. I think West Fort Knott got the worst of it, though. Your cargo has already been prepared. If you could deliver it to West Fort Knott as quickly as you can, that'd be great. We need to support each other at times like these, so pick up the priority order from the delivery terminal right away. I'm counting on you, Sam.
Order accepted. Thank you.
So shut the door and leave. Right, you gotta load cargo onto the shuttle. For a glass of wet champagne, pour it on the TV screen.
Takes the blonde with the blue bow.
Now leaving chiral network
In a city
coverage.
I don't know. In a city I don't know.
Okay.
Don't rely on famous men. Only live in common dens. Let me lie on Alice bed. You were wrong and I was right, but you still put up a fight. Well, I know you're tired, dear,
Now entering chiral network
so
coverage.
shut the door and leave. Don't rely on famous men.
Now leaving chiral network coverage.
Common dens. Let me lie on Alice bed.
Good morning. Drawbridge credentials verified. Welcome, sir.
Security measures lifted. Weapons.
What business brings you to my doorstep? Wait, are you carrying some cargo that got washed away after the quake? I'll need a moment to process and confirm. Well, where on earth did you find this? I'd given up on ever seeing it. You, sir, are a good man, and you're bringing people into the chiral network, yes? I'd be interested in that. Get me online.
I think this could prove useful to you. Try it and see if you agree. I call this an otter hood. It's an original invention of my very own. Put it on, and you'll find you can float in the water as happily as an otter. You'll never be at risk of drowning ever again. It's guaranteed to make you feel like a born swimmer, which, given the recent flooding, is great for people like me who can't swim at all. But I'll bet you could find some use for it too, in your line of work. That's so. Someone else already went and made the same thing. Well, I just think otters are wonderful. You like them too, don't you? Despite being mammals, these adorable mustelids live the better part of their lives in water. Floating on the surface, flat on their backs. Grace personified. In becoming an otter, we can become one with the water. That's why I decided to create this hood. So, if someone else out there had the same idea, I bet we'd get along swimmingly. Anyway, if you don't have their hood, maybe you could still use mine. Though, saying that, I better come up with something new. Thanks, and come back again soon. I'll try to whip up something extra special to give you next time.
Order completed. Well done.
I appreciate the help.
Disengaging weapons restrictions.
Take care, Sam.
further now.
I'll be waiting for you. Sam, I'm so glad to see you again. We just got hit by a massive quake. I was afraid you might have got hurt out there, or worse. Anyway, I'll check your cargo. Well, I wasn't expecting to receive this in such great shape. You're something else. It's like a dream come true, this showing up on our doorstep. We'd written it off, but you made our day.
Now displaying your current porter grade.
Thank you so much. We should be able to get our chiral printer in working order now. I've never felt tremors like that before, not even when the tar currents were acting up. It makes me pretty concerned about other folks living nearby. But at least the monorail you patched up seems to be none the worse for wear. Hey, out of curiosity, have you restored any of the other large mines? They'd be a great source of materials if you were ever in need. Are you familiar with the island that lies north of our facility here at West Fort Knott? Well, there's a shelter on that island. The man who lives there only cares about his research and never talks to anyone. But I can't help worrying that he might have been hurt during the tremors. There are a few large mines in the northern part of the continent, not far from where you'll find North Fort Knott. Or where you used to be able to find it, I should say, before it was wiped off the map by a void out. As for the mines, no one knows if they were obliterated too. But if you happen to be headed that way, you might want to see if they're still around. You've been such a big help to us. Rest assured, our staff will see that everyone gets their share of the aid packages you delivered. A lot of people are going to be singing your praises before too long. Best of luck to you with everything.
Thanks for all your hard work. Everything there seems to be in order. But one cannot help but wonder what other facilities were affected. Anyway, you can pick up your next order from the F2 South Distribution Center. This one's a rescue mission, Sam. Someone's been taken hostage by the armed survivalists, and we need you to extract them to safety. The survivalists have been known to kill people, so you'll want to take extra care when preparing for this one. Oh, and it seems the tar currents have finally stabilized. So the DHV Magellan should be able to travel without issue. Call us if you need us. All right, Sam. Good luck.
Order completed. Well done.
You're always such a big help.
Alexa.
Hey Sam, Charlie here. This order is a hostage rescue operation. The target for extraction is this man. He was conducting a search in a mining region when communications abruptly ceased. He went there at the behest of the Dowser, who resides at the next facility you need to link up. Take heed that the mine in question is currently under the control of the armed survivalists, a faction whose members have no reservations about using lethal force and should be considered a serious threat. To make matters worse, some of them have been observed wearing armor as well as active skeletons. Such enemies will possess increased mobility and defensive capabilities. It would therefore be prudent to bring equipment to counter these advantages. There's no telling how much longer they'll keep the hostage alive. Moreover, saving him may help us to pursue future objectives in this region and beyond. Regardless, this is a matter of life and death for the Dowser's friend. Give your preparations all due consideration. He's counting on you, Sam.
Order accepted. Thank you.
trouble nearby.
Now leaving chiral network coverage.
man we came to rescue appears to be unconscious. Place him in a protective bag and get him to safety. Take our ailing friend to the Dowser shelter. We just need to figure out how to get over these mountains first.
Credentials verified. Welcome, sir.
Security measures lifted. Weapons detected. Be advised that usage is restricted inside facility grounds.
Access the delivery terminal. Process your orders and requests.
There you are. Thank goodness. And you saved my friend, too. Give me a moment to take stock. He seems to be in reasonably good health. I'm so relieved. There's something special about you. I can tell. I think you might be just the person I've been looking for. This was meant to be. I can feel it. Bring me online with your Cupid.
Now displaying your current porter grade.
So, I'm a part of the chiral network now, am I? You can't even begin to imagine how much this is going to benefit my work. As thanks, I've shared the schematic for a level 2 PCC. I sense you'll need to build all kinds of structures to deal with the obstacles you're going to encounter from here on out. For instance, this more advanced PCC will allow you to fabricate zip lines. And this zip line's design is even better than the one you used back in the UCA. I also have another gift to share. A schematic for a boost skeleton. Throw it on and it'll allow you to carry heavy cargo with relative ease. And prepare to be amazed when you give it a boost. You'll run faster than ever and jump even farther too. That's a signature feature. It also has shock absorbers that reduce the damage you take from a big drop. But don't forget that boosting consumes battery power, so make sure you've got enough for when you need to rely on these features. Oh, and in case you're wondering, that friend of mine you rescued is doing well. His condition is stable and he's just catching up on some sleep. I can't thank you enough for getting him out. Like the old design, this zipline enables an individual to travel quickly between two anchors. However, you'll find it offers greater comfort and freedom of movement to the rider. Also, the lines themselves can now curve ever so slightly if necessary, which makes zipping around more viable in areas with plentiful obstacles. You see, even if I know where the thing I'm searching for is, it doesn't mean I can get there. That's why I've been looking into tools like this to facilitate travel. And with any luck, I'll have more solutions like this to share in the near future. I search for underground streams and mineral veins. My gift also allows me to perceive distant objects. So, people sometimes ask me to track down lost items for them as well. But I only identify the general location. I leave it to my friend to handle the actual retrieval. He'd gone out to secure an item I'd located. The request came from a drawbridge member, actually, Hartman. He said it was essential for his research into using the beach for jumping. Anyway, I used my gift to ascertain the item's location. We knew that area wasn't safe, but my friend was willing to take the risk regardless. And despite what happened, he still managed to complete the job. I'll admit, he can be a bit reckless, but when he resolves to do something, he always sees it through. There's another request I'd like to send your way, but I'll need a little more time to get everything in order. I'm still in the middle of processing the item my friend recovered before he got captured. So, I hope you don't mind waiting. I hate to inconvenience you, especially since I wouldn't even be able to make this request if you hadn't saved him. Oh, by the way, do you like apples? My friend brought a few back with him. It's just a shame he grabbed them before they'd fully ripened. He's got a bit of an impulsive nature, just his way. But don't worry, they'll be ready to eat soon enough. I'll send them to you then. Thank you again, Sam. I'm glad you were able to get them out safely. That group was more dangerous than your average band of hostiles. Those weapons they were carrying were state-of-the-art. You'll need to keep an eye out for them in the future. Groups like these make me nervous about letting Tomorrow spend time outside, even though she's doing better. When you return to the DHV Magellan, you should see for yourself how much progress she's made. And get some rest. You're long overdue. I'm sure Dahlman's tired too.
Order completed. Well done.
Disengaging weapons restrictions.
Take care, Sam.
Hey, come on.
Tomorrow. I'm sorry, but you have to stay on board. It's too dangerous to go out by yourself. And you'll have to put on your shoes.
Look at this, Tamar. They're not quite ripe yet, but I think they might... It's okay, Tamar, really. For you.